All right, we are back, and now all right, welcome back. We are in here. Got to get my link here for all the people out there that we're going to send out to everybody. So a little bit of technical issues there on the back end there. So very sorry for everyone there. We are waiting on the Philly Godfather now to join us. All right, cool. We're on, rocking and rolling live. So, yeah, as I mentioned there, we're going to be looking for some of these injury situations to sort of, give us an idea of what we're gonna have in these games today. This is incredibly frustrating not having the video work there at the beginning. So bear with us here as we get into to all these new debacles and whatnot. And right now we got our first guest on the show, the Philly Godfather, joining us here. This guy is one of the best followers on Twitter out there. Make sure you're following this guy at Philly Godfather. And your philosophy works very well here for us, because I know you're a guy that you say, you know what, if you ain't tracking your bets, what the hell are you doing out there? So that's what the Sharp app does. It allows you to track your bets easily. You could show your friends. You could share it on Twitter, Facebook, all that other shit. So thank you for joining us, man. How's the weekend going?
Great, man. I mean, I wish college basketball was doing better. We started off red hot, and then last week we hit a big speed bump. And we came back down to earth a little bit, lost some money, and then yesterday was okay for us. So we're trying to get college basketball back on track. There's a million games a night. It should be a lot easier. I mean, these lines are off. The bookmakers can't get all these numbers right, but yet they're still getting them right. So we're losing a little bit in college basketball. NFL has been unreal all year. College football was great. Now with the bowl season, there's a lot of uncertainty. Who's playing, who's not playing. So you got to be really careful, really read up, do as much homework as possible to come up with a good educated guess. That's all we're doing right here, is trying to read, gather as much information as possible, compare the matchups, import, export injuries, and come out with an educated guess that'll help us make some money. That'll help us break go over that 52.4% when you're risking 110 to win 100.
Indeed. So where are those educated guesses going today? Who we liking?
So far, I mean, I laid one on San Fran. Tough place to play in Cincinnati. I just think San Fran is the healthier team now. Joe Burrow's got that pinky thing. And if you guys remember at the beginning of the year, if you look at the regular season win total set by Vegas, San Fran was up around 10 wins, while Cincinnati was around 6. Now, even though Cincinnati's a lot better than odds makers thought they were, I still don't think they're a 10-win team on the season. So I laid some 1 on San Francisco on the road. Took some Cleveland Browns money. I laid some 2 there with the Browns. Baltimore banged up.
I like where we're going today. I like those are the 2 games that I got in already.
Good. Great minds think alike. That's always a good thing. But I just think Baltimore's been a little lucky. The ball's been bouncing their way in so many games this year. Lamar is an amazing athlete, a great runner. I just don't think he's one of those elite quarterbacks. And with the banged up offensive line, he's missing some weapons on offense. And and Cleveland's starting to get healthy, I think Cleveland should get the W today.
I actually had Baltimore when these two teams met a couple weeks ago when Lamar throws the 4 interceptions. You're very lucky to walk away with a winning bet after that game that happened right there. So, yeah, I think that, those 4 interceptions probably not going to happen again. However, you can't get lucky twice like that, especially, in a period of weeks like that. So, yeah, definitely looking forward to the Browns running all over the Ravens today. I want to ask your opinion on this. By the way, Philly Godfather has one of the best shows out there. It's Follow. I'm sorry that I don't have the show.
Follow the Action Thursday night. I got the whole crew on there. It's me, Jimmy the Sheep Batista from the NBA mess that was he was involved in a few years back. We got Rooster on there. We got the college kids, the 8 Ball. Dave Mason's on there from Bet Online as well, giving you the other side of the story, the bookmaker's perspective. And we go out every Thursday night at 7:00 and we break down the entire NFL board and we give out our opinions for free.
Yeah, it's a great show because you really get a lot of different opinions, from some of the best minds in the industry. And then, too, Dave letting you know where the action's coming in there, Bet Online and everything like that. I feel like everybody should listen to that podcast after this one, of course, though. I know we had a little bit of a rough start here today, but technology ain't my thing, PG. What else you like there on the board today?
Today, I mean, there's some opposition in this Buffalo Bills-Tampa Bay game. There's some sharp money that laid 3 on Tampa Bay, and then there's another group that took the 3.5 and took the +4 in Buffalo. Buffalo's pass defense isn't the same since they lost their cornerback, but they're still one of the best in the NFL. They've only given up 8 passing touchdowns all year. It's tough to beat Tampa Bay in Raymond James Stadium down there. I mean, they're 5-0, a +108 point differential on the season, and it's always tough beating Tom Brady anyway. But to me, I mean, bookmakers, they're basically telling you if this game was played on a neutral field, the game would be a pick'em. And you would think Tampa Bay would be a much bigger favorite on a neutral field. Now at home, they're only laying 3.5. Man, I kind of like Buffalo a little bit, even though there's some sharp money on the other side. This is a big game for Buffalo. It's a big game for Tampa Bay as well because they're trying to keep pace with Arizona. But if Buffalo loses this one, they got a bunch of teams nipping at their heels. I mean, the Raiders are there, the Broncos. You got the Colts. So they're at 7-5. This is a big game for Buffalo. So I like Buffalo a little bit plus the points. I think the team that has the ball last here probably wins the game. I laid 8.5, 9.5 on Denver. I mean, it's a COVID dance party out there in Detroit. Everyone and their mother has COVID, so they're not playing. So they're missing a bunch of people. They've already won their game, for the season. So they got over that last week, Detroit. I think Denver blows that team out. Who else do I like? I like the Rams Monday night, better in yards per play. Better on offensive side, defensive side, even though Arizona has a better record. A little disrespect by bookmakers. I mean, all you got to do is lay 2.5 on a 10-2 team at home. Bookmakers begging for Arizona money there. I kind of like the Rams at +3 at that key number of 3. And that's basically it. Some of the stronger games that we like. That's about it, man.
So just to go back to that Buffalo-Tampa game, it's been a hectic week for me over here. I completely forgot that my brother's coming over to watch the game today. He's a Buffalo Bills fan. I completely forgot he's coming over. I told people I go out for the game, so I guess I'm bringing him out with me. But, yeah, I like the under in that one, 53.5. The one thing that I was looking at, of course, everybody's going to want to see this Allen versus Brady shootout. However, we just saw Buffalo play that game on Monday night in essentially Antarctica-like conditions. I wonder how their body's going to hold up, coming into today. So, and then Tampa Bay's defense. I know they had a lot of injuries early, but this is a team that's starting to get a little healthier. They have been playing much better defense over the last couple of weeks for sure. So maybe a couple turnovers, get that going. I hate going against Josh Allen just because I feel like sometimes that Buffalo offense is like it's very hard to stop. However, something's just off with them this year.
Yeah, well, they can't run the ball, and if you can't run the ball, you can't hold on to leads.
Yeah,
and you can't control the time of possession, and it really wears your team down. And you saw it last week against New England in that bad weather game. They just, they couldn't run the ball at all. Is Vita Vea playing today? Yeah, so that it makes it even harder if he's playing. How do you run on that team? They're one of the best run defenses in football. And even last year, listen, I was all over Tampa Bay last year. You know this. I was all over Buffalo.
Yeah, buddy. That's how we became such good friends.
And we ended up nailing that Tampa Bay future. But Buffalo, to me, last year, uh, first 10 games of the season, there was 3 games there that they could have lost. They were lucky to win those games. And then in their last 6 games, 5 to 6 teams they played were decimated with injuries. So we got kind of lucky with Buffalo. And then in the playoffs, they ended up playing Lamar Jackson, who ain't really a playoff quarterback. So they got a little lucky last year. And that's one of the reasons why I went under 11.5 wins this season on this Buffalo Bills team.
That.
And, of course, we went over 9 with the Patriots. We knew Belichick went out there and spent all that money this year. This team was going to be a lot better. And we actually went over 9 wins for the Patriots. We had them to win the AFC East. And we actually took some plus 3,300 and plus 2,500 before the season started on the Patriots to win the Super Bowl. And you probably could have got a better number when they started off slow in the season. But right now, it looks like, that's the team to beat. And if you look at the Patriots, they're what are they, 9-4? But they could be 11-2. They should have beat the Cowboys. And they could have beat Tampa Bay. So this is, it's a tough division. Miami's playing some good football, but again, this is a Buffalo Bills team. You can't really put your finger on what the problem is. I'm not really sold on their coach. I think he's a pretty good coach, but he clams up in certain situations. Another thing I don't like about him, but it's a game they gotta have, man. And you're going up against Tom Brady, who doesn't lose in Tampa. It's a tough one.
Yeah, for sure. So, how does the Philly Godfather spend his Sundays watching football? You go out or you stay home side?
It depends, man. I got a family, I got kids, we got nieces, nephews. So it depends. Like right now, we got a room full of kids that slept over last night. So I've been up since 5 o'clock going through, all the injury reports, all the numbers, and they're screaming. And we got, I live out on a farm. We got alpacas, we got German shepherds, we got cats.
No way, really? Oh my God.
Yeah, so we're out here.
I got to come see these alpacas someday. That's exciting stuff right there.
Yeah, they're awesome, man. They're real docile, real nice animals. But the action's always, it never stops over here. So, I always talk about the screen never sleeps, so the action never stops. Well, at my house, the action never stops, man.
Yeah, and honestly, this was just such a weird week for me because I wanted to get this show going, and of course, the one problem that I thought I was going to have, of course, I had. But I was thinking so much about the show and everything. I feel like a lot of the different practices that I do throughout the week and stuff like that in terms of research are going to kind of be off. However, those 2 games there, Cleveland and San Francisco throughout the week, those were 2 that just stuck out to me initially. And, I'm rocking and rolling there. All right. 1220 PG. I thank you very much for coming on. I apologize again for the beginning, with the technical difficulties there, but the one thing that you could take away from this episode is that you were the very first guest ever on the Sharp app Countdown to Kickoff show. So if nothing else today, we've got that.
I feel honored. And here's a little, if you're looking to bet the unders, always look at the weather, obviously the wind, but you got to really pay attention to the injuries on the offensive line, because if you can't protect your quarterback, he won't have time to throw the ball. And if they got to run the ball more than throw the ball, then it's going to chew up some clock. So teams that are missing or have a banged-up offensive line, and the weather is big when you're looking to go under in these NFL fields.
All right, PG, thank you for hopping on. Enjoy your Sunday, and best of luck out there.
Good luck, guys.
By the way, you can find the Philly Godfather on Twitter at Philly Godfather over there. He had a lot of great insight there, of course, as he always does. Mark Drumheller even chimed into the chat here, says tough spot for Buffalo coming off such a physical loss where they got pounded. Now on the road on a short week. Tough. Absolutely. That's me and PG were talking about that there. And, look, Tampa Bay, they've been straight up money at home, right? They had that first game in week 1 where Dallas almost knocked them off outright, almost trying to give your boy, diehard Bucks fan here, a damn heart attack in that week 1. But, we look at the Bucks opponents that they've had at home this season, aside from the Cowboys, right? Like the Giants they had on Monday night, they absolutely waxed Chicago by 35. They're at home too. Atlanta week 2, they even beat up pretty good. So while the home numbers are good, they're not necessarily playing the best competition out there. So Next up on the show, we're going to have Chop Adong coming on here in a couple minutes. Chop over at DFS Army, one of the probably one of the nicest guys, one of the most helpful guys out there in the industry, really helping people sort of elevate their DFS bankroll, right? So listen, not everybody's going to be a Philly godfather like that, throwing millions of dollars out there. But this is Chop does a phenomenal job of taking, those smaller role players and getting them to be phenomenal players. So Chop joins us right now. You can find him on Twitter at Chapo Dong. Chop, I haven't seen your face in I feel like it's been a decade. How are you, brother?
It looks like it's been a decade.
So Chop,
I got these things I got to wear now because I've got CSS. I can't see shit.
I think I had the same exact pair of glasses that you have right there.
Oh, these are beautiful. These are dollar store variety. I've got them scattered all over the house.
I thank you for coming on here.
Yeah.
The beginning of the show didn't go so well. So the link that I put out there to everybody is basically useless. It's like a lamp sitting in the side of the corner now. But now we're back. Now we have 5 listeners. The people are dialed in. We are ready to go. I need to know. So you're more of a DFS guy than betting, correct?
Yeah.
So what's the big move for you today?
Honestly, it seems like everybody's all in on Taysom Hill.
Okay.
And everybody loves locking him in cash, which I think is great. And then are they really trying to pair him with Kamara or get off of it with Kamara? And so where I was, and when I actually messaged you earlier today and said I am in CSV hell, it's because I was running a couple of different batches of trying to get Taysom Hill naked, which, I mean, say what you want to say about trying to get homeboy naked. It's hard to do no matter what you do. When you got game like this with these glasses, this hat, this sweatshirt, I ain't got no game. But I'm trying to get the guy in there in lineups all by himself. And I'm trying to get him in there stacked up a little bit with about 10 to 15% of what it is that I'm doing. And then when you try to merge those CSV files together and create MME lineups, and it goes haywire, and you're running up against, you got your homeboy Al Walsh that you're trying to connect with online. You got guys that are asking you questions inside DFS Army. You're trying to sort this CSV file stuff out, and then you realize the whole time you downloaded the wrong effing slate. So nothing would upload. I'm trying to push 200 plus lineups, like you mentioned, nickels, dimes, quarters, whatever, into all these things. And I'm going, what is going wrong? My head's going crazy. My wife's trying to shuffle around, get lunch ready for kids and stuff upstairs. And it was a 15-minute panic. But my big play right now is what to do with Taysom Hill. I generally tell my guys, we need to cap our lineups at about 30, 35% on any given player. And the reason why I'm a big believer now in diversification, spreading out, giving myself those chances of getting that unique combination from, it's the random stuff. If you're trying to win 100,000, 200,000 person GPP, it's the random stuff, right? That usually falls in your lineup a little bit by luck, but you've got to leave yourself open to the opportunity. And by doing that, you cap your percentages. I'm not capping Taysom Hill today. I'm actually going the other way. He's only projected 13 to 17% ownership right now. It should be higher, and it might end up being higher. But I'm up to 80, 90% on the dude because I think that with the rushing floor and the price that he has, especially on DraftKings, I think that the guy could have one of those days where he's going to be in the winner. And if he's going to be in the winner, I want as many combinations of that as I possibly can have. So that's where the whole day, the whole week has been centered around. And I never do that. I usually stop at about a third in any of my lineups so I can really spread out. Today I did not. Today I actually went completely overboard the other way. And we'll see. The way I teach my guys, if this really goes bust on me, I'm out $40. Big freaking deal, right? My mortgage gets paid. I ain't worried about it. And I like that just for you, from going back, gosh, years and years and years now.
Right.
Occasionally, I'll come out with a random whack-ass bold call. And this isn't the boldest, like Chris Davis 2-bomb days or like the famous ones. But when it comes down to that kind of stuff, I'm just trying to get an edge, teach my guys how to have an edge. But I would rather be there for them in these type of formats, these type of situations when they're asking questions. And I can't do that if I have $500 to $1,000 sitting out there. I get paid plenty fine at my job. I'll keep it down to 30, 40, $50. We'll roll that way. And then if my lineups all go to the crapper, I can be spending my time with you making sure yours don't. That's where I like to commit myself inside the Army anyway. So me in a nutshell, nothing big. I don't even do any research anymore, Al. It'll drive you nuts.
Really?
I don't need to. I spread out so much and I randomize. And yeah, I pay attention and tweak some things. I want more of this guy. I want more of this guy. I want less of this guy. But it's an ownership game for me now. It is not what statistic matters. Does a guy tie his right shoe left or, right shoe first or his left shoe first? I don't care anymore. I don't care. We know that the projections around the industry are all very good. We know that they land on the medians. We know that really what this becomes now is an ownership game, which allows us actually, which goes more back into what you're wanting to talk about, I'm sure, which is things like player props, rushing props of Taysom Hill, passing yards props. If these things are all set to hit the over, and you can find sports modeling that actually projects these things to hit the overs, this is kind of the new wave of research that can help take your DFS game to the next level too, because it really gives you that confidence that if he's only supposed to rush for 30 something yards, but I see a projection in a model saying 40, 45, then I can smash that over. And I can take that prop to the house with a good degree of confidence.
Yeah, it's amazing the things that, people have come up with, even if we're talking about DFS, betting too, man. Like some of the models that these guys have, like Anthony, man, dude is insane, with all the different stuff that he has. So glad he's on our team, right?
Yeah, he's one of my favorite follows, to be honest. If you look at the leaderboard on the Sharp app, he's by far and away the leader 90-day and all time. And I really just hitched my wagon to Anthony's.
Again, I also did not know that Anthony had a French Canadian accent. Did not know that until we had the staff called this week.
You know what else he's got? He's got a Greek wife.
Really? Very nice. All right. So we got.
If you hear those two going on in the background in one of those staff calls, Anthony's usually swilling on some kind of a bourbon on the rocks or something like that, and his wife's usually yelling at him, "Mop the floor." It's hysterical.
That's great. That is great. So you and I, I'm not doing DFS this week. I just had too much shit going on with, trying to get this show up and running and making sure that what happened at the beginning didn't happen at the beginning. But I'm more of a single entry sort of guy, right? Yeah. So I kind of got to put all my eggs into one basket. But I had so much success at the beginning of the year with DFS, and I week 1 and 2 were just epically bad for me. Like I almost had to move into the YMCA here in Bayonne, New Jersey. But I've heard to be careful of those showers, buddy. Yeah, you back that up with a good week 3, week 4, but it is like the ups and downs and the ebbs and flows are just so tough. What do you say to people that are having like a real tough day out there? Well, a tough day is one thing, because tough day, tough week, tough month, tough season. Last year was the first year in probably 7 that I posted a net negative in NFL. And it absolutely drove me nuts for 16, 17 weeks. And I was kicking the dog, kicking the cat, kicking the squirrel, whatever the hell would cross my path. And it was absolutely maddening. But one thing that I've done where I think a lot of my mentality comes from is the old poker industry. And the ups and downs in poker are just as bad. So, I mean, I've really been numb to it for a long, long time. It still gets to me. But understanding that this is a large sample-sized game, we have a lot of variance. A lot of short-term luck determines winnings and losings in DFS, sports betting, any of it. And you have to be prepared for that mentally. You have to have a bankroll, play well underneath your bankroll so that you're not really stressing over the money, because you realize you're going to live to fight again next week and the next week and the next week and the next week before it actually starts to become a strain on the money that you have in these accounts. And the ups are coming. As long as you can learn ways to mitigate risk, mitigate your losses, and balance out a portfolio, diversify, you're going to have that good day eventually. Now, we're talking about 16 to 18 weeks in the NFL. That's not a lot. If you're trying to build one lineup, 2 lineups, it's very easy to lose 12, 13 out of 16 weeks. Yeah. And that doesn't mean you're doing anything wrong. It just means that, you're getting crapped on. And when you get that good week, it makes us all feel good. But if you're trying to build up some kind of a sample size you can track, 100, 200 slates worth, now you're talking about what, 5, 6, 7 NFL seasons before you actually really know? I don't think most people know that.
You can go 5 years of net negatives and still be a winning, profitable player in earnest. You're just honestly being a little bit results oriented. And those are the mental things that we have, communities to help us talk with, coaches to help us talk about and talk through.
Sure.
Because guys that are brand new that come in and say, I see all this winning. Why am I not winning? Man, we got to learn to, crawl before we walk. We got to learn to walk before we run. And we got to go through those ups and downs, kind of get desensitized to them first. And then take off from there.
I was going to say too, with DFS, it's so tough because, you're betting on the outcome of 9 human beings, right? And when you bet on a game, you're betting on just one team, right? So that was the big thing for me. That why I guess I went to betting more so. Not to mention it's legal here in Jersey, so that made it super easy. But it is sort of an unbelievable dynamic to kind of how you formulate it and go through it and all that stuff.
Think about this. The hardest thing to do is hit a round ball with a round bat, right? If you're a math guy, tangent point on tangent point and get it square. But there's another thing that I like to tell people too, that football is not round.
Yeah.
That football has points on it. That football does not bounce true. And when it hits the ground, it should make you nervous because you don't know where it's going to go, honestly. And if it goes up into your guy's hands and he takes off, scoop, and score, great. If it doesn't, it goes back to the other teams. These things happen, and we've got to mentally find a way to get used to them.
Yeah, I think so remember I was telling you, I was telling you, the beginning of the season, week 1 and 2 were so bad. Week 1, I couldn't hit sand falling off the camel. Like my picks were just so bad, right? Like it was my own fault. Week 2, I needed a big bounce back. Nothing like flags all over the ground. If I saw a yellow leaf on the ground later that week, I was freaking out, right? But like that, these flags in the game nowadays are absolutely like changing, like, one thing we got to take a look at, we got to talk to some of these leagues, but like there's some serious money going on with these games, and it could not go your way because some guy saw something wrong. I remember I had New Orleans at Tennessee a couple weeks ago, and the absolute worst roughing the passer call, and then that gives Tennessee another chance, to score a touchdown. They get it. That was right before the end of the first half. Second half, New Orleans gets the kickoff and fumbles it right away. And then Tennessee goes in and scores. But like they had the interception. They had the momentum. They had everything going in their favor. And a ref just took it away because he's an idiot.
There's really nothing else more to say to that. I mean, I really do. I think that some of these guys fell off the back of the turnip truck. I think that they're just idiots in a lot of cases. I see guys trip into hockey nets and they tripped over a groove in the ice and they end up, some other dude goes to the box for 2 minutes and the other team score. It's like, I don't even know what you can do to these scenarios. If you miss, how many times have we seen a baseball player hit a ball foul by 2 feet that could have been a 3-run bomb, and the next swing is in the dirt and he goes fishing for it and he walks back to the dugout with a strikeout. We get 0 points instead of 22 points or whatever. That stuff is big swings, and for a lot of people, it's big money. And that's the short-term luck that really drives people mad, no matter if they're sports betting or if they're playing DFS or what.
I can give you the golf analogy. How many times, I know you're really good. You probably don't have too many tee shots that go off the reservation, but
you'd be surprised.
Think about some of the, right? Like you hit that one drive and it goes like, 30 yards out of bounds or whatever. And you're like, all right, here's my mulligan. And then the mulligan goes right down the pipe. It's just,
absolutely. That's when you count the mulligan.
That's like, well, besides Taysom Hill today, any other surprises that you think we're going to see out there?
One thing I noticed earlier this week, I noticed that Stephon Diggs' ownership was a little bit high. And it's not that I don't think the guy's going to have a good game. It's that when I was doing my little box checkers article where I kind of go through, who's home, who's favored, who's implied to score points, who's getting targets, who's getting red zone work, blah, blah, blah. Diggs was missing a couple of boxes. I don't remember exactly which ones they were, but somebody that was checking a lot of those boxes instead was Tyreek Hill. And Tyreek was coming off at about half the ownership of a Stephon Diggs. So one thing that, again, I try to teach our guys inside the industry, if you're seeing somebody at a volatile position like a wide receiver or a tight end, and you're seeing a guy who's relatively chalky going into the games, 20%, 25%, whatever, that guy, it's a volatile position. Even if he's in a smash spot, you can actually look for opportunity to gamble the other direction. So you're looking for something that is in a similar spot, similar talent caliber, similar salary price point, similar projection, whatever. And if you can find that guy at lower ownership, say half the ownership, you might as well gamble on the other guy because neither one of them are predictable.
Yeah.
And what you want is you want that ball to bounce funny in that case. You want Diggs to go down because he takes more people down with the ship when he goes down.
Yep.
And of course, your guy has a good game in retrospect, or in comparison. And the next thing you know, you're sitting pretty. You're leapfrogging 30 and 40 people on these leaderboards at every single catch. And that's how you win these tournaments. You do not win these tournaments on picking the right players anymore. You win these tournaments by picking the right leverage points, the right inflection points to put pressure on by adding a little bit more of your bankroll or adding a little bit more of your emphasis, if you will. And Tyreek Hill's in a great spot today. I think that a couple of others, I know that a lot of people are paying up at tight end for people like Kelsey and people like Andrews and people, up in that range. The one guy that I've actually, and this might be the boldest call of them all, and this would be the one that'll make sure you never invite me back on your show.
All right.
Let's go back to the well with Foster Moreau.
Okay. All right.
Nobody likes the dude. He ticked a ton of people off last week. He is supposedly 75 to 80% of what Darren Waller is when he gets the targets. He's facing the Kansas City Chiefs, who defend the tight end fairly poorly. He's in a high total game, and he just ticked everybody off by not getting any targets. What makes us think that anything changed situationally? Nothing changed. If nothing changed, why not take another shot on the guy and see if it pans out today? Because if it pans out today, you're getting him again at about half the ownership as you had last week, which was already fairly low. And it could turn up. He falls into the end zone, goes 6 for 60 or something like that. 13, 14 points at that salary price point does exactly what your Andrews would do or your Gronk would do or whatever. Those guys fall down a little bit, don't have the game they're supposed to have. Moreau has a decent game at a cheaper price point, and the next thing you know, you've leapfrogged 40, 50, 60 people on the leaderboards. It could happen.
I like that. No, I absolutely love that leverage of thinking. My favorite play, just in terms of like DFS usually is going with that cheat defense, right? So I absolutely love trying to, steal some money that way. But sorry, I was just getting off on another tangent. But to go back to what you said about Tyreek Hill, absolutely love that today because, we got Chiefs 9.5-point favorites today going up against the Raiders. I really like that one a lot. I actually did not put that bet in yet. I'm going to do it right now. Paul, my next guest, who I do the podcast with weekly, we talk about it. Betting while podcasting. It's a good thing, right? It's a good practice. It lets people know, you know what? You take that information and you go right the hell along with it. So
I'll tell you what, before you fire me back off into Never Land, one thing that I do like doing very much is live betting these days.
Love it.
I like to take a line, like you said, 9.5 or whatever. Raiders are getting +9, +9.5. Is that right?
Yeah.
So if they're in that type of a situation, and let's say Kansas City comes out and fires off 2 quick scores, and looks like they're just going to blow the roof off of the sucker, I'm going to go check that live line, and I'm going to see how far, because the public overreacts. We all know they're emotional. If they love Kardashians, they're emotional people, right? And if we can take advantage of that situation and catch the public overreacting at a good price, if that line climbs to +14, +15, +16 because they're going down by 2 scores, the original Vegas closing line had that thing inside 10 points. It should finish close to that. And if it gets too far out the other direction, bam, slap a bet on the other side. And, like right now, we're close to lock. If we end up getting, 2-3 minutes, you're not getting the price you want, you can't tell where the line's going to move, where it's going to lock in, just bow out for 30 minutes. Hold off on that bet. Look for something quick to happen in the early part of the game and then bet it live instead.
One thing that I like to pay attention to with live betting, got to make sure, see who's getting that kickoff to start the second half. There's a lot of different things that you're going to learn, I guess, from betting, right? Like there's a lot of lessons that you're going to take from all these. Honestly, it's up to you to kind of take them and do what you will with them.
But what better than to have a community like you guys to sit back and talk with in a Discord channel or something along those lines, where you can actually suss out those theories, those ideas, those concepts, get some actual expert advice, expert opinion, and then add that to your game and just enjoy watching TV even more than we already do. I mean, if we're not already the fattest damn nation in the world, we're going to be shortly, because I'm telling you, I've gained 15 or 20 pounds just since I've started playing DFS.
Yeah. Sometimes like today, my anxiety level was through the friggin' roof trying to like prepare for this show. So like when that happens, I just can't eat. But today we're going to go to this place, the Vic, and watch the game. Oh my God. The wings, the thin pie chop. Oh, yeah. My goodness. I might have to send you some.
Hey, you know what? I'll eat them rotten when they show up at my door, because I know you're not going to send them in some kind of cooler packed dry ice thing. You and I are on a similar budget. You're just going to throw them in a Ziploc baggie, slap my address on them, and they show up when they show up.
That shit ain't cheap, man. Send it, like, if you ever get like one of those Pequod's pizzas or something like that from Chicago, they are not cheap at all. All right, Chop, thank you very much for joining us today. Best of luck today, and make sure you're hitting everything.
You as well.
There he goes, Chop it down. Yep. Next, we're gonna see Paulie Parlays coming up. Paulie is my podcast host, the co-host there with me on Taking Sides. So this is going to be very interesting to see how he thought I did here on the inaugural show. Obviously, I get an F for the opening of the show, but here he is now. Hey, all right. So true grading here. What grade do I get for my debut?
We haven't started yet, so I don't know. It depends how well this goes. You have to tell everyone who I am. There's so many layers to this. You like how
there is.
Okay, so you told me that you wanted this to be like the Peyton and Eli show. So I wore my Peyton jersey. I got some Broncos stuff in the background, but that's more for our boy Demaryius Thomas, who sadly passed away this week. That's crazy. Such a crazy story. But dude, this is awesome. I'm so happy to be here for betting for breakfast.
Yeah. So by the way, and I introduced you both like just before you came
on. But again, I didn't get the mic drop. I didn't hear you.
This is Paulie Parlays. He is my co-host there on Taking Sides, the podcast that we do each and every week. Make sure you follow us there on Spotify. So Paul and I used to work together at Minute Media. He moved on to BetMGM, but we've kept in contact this whole time and remained very good friends and everything. And we're probably going to hang out soon for the first time in a while. Coming up here in a couple of weeks. I know. It's out. It's funny. So the first guest on today, Philly Godfather. I seriously, bro. Like I have just been running around, like stressing the hell out about making sure that this show went the right way and everything. Completely forgot that my brother's coming over today to watch the Bucks Bills game. Completely forgot.
But isn't that's in the 4 o'clock set? So you're
okay. It is. But no.
He busts in at exactly 1 o'clock, and you're just like. What are you doing?
You want to laugh? No, you want to laugh? I told him, I was like, I'm doing this show, so come in right after 1 o'clock, and then, and then we'll be all good. But yeah, I'm just so stressed out right now, and I'm glad that the show got underway and everything. Relax. I know.
It's but just now that fun. It's just fun. We're giving people some picks so they can win some money today. Beat the book, whatever you want to call it. That's what we're here for. This is fun. It gives you another reason to watch the NFL.
Indeed. So 15 minutes here before kickoff. Anything? For the people that didn't listen to the podcast this week, definitely let them know who you're on here. And then did any thoughts change here before kickoff?
So since, as you've told everyone, I'm Paulie Parlays, as of now in my account, I just want to count so I get this number correct. But I'm pretty sure I have 6 parlays, 0 straight bets on the week. So tell me how my week's going to go, because you and I have talked about how, look, parlays are great. Like you can put a little bit in to potentially win a lot, but we know parlays are for suckers. Like, come on. Like, I'm sure I got a 4-teamer. I got a 7-teamer. I got a 3-teamer. I got a 5-teamer. I got a 3-teamer. I got a 3-teamer. And it's just like, which one is going to sneak in here and ruin this? Or maybe I'll hit big and have an awesome week. So I'm happy to take you through a bunch of this and just run through
let's go.
These ridiculous parlays that I have, and hopefully the listeners will tail me and we'll get some wins.
Right, like it's better than a last-second 6-leg parlay 10 minutes before kickoff. Go.
All right, so here we go. $34 to win 375. So
okay,
more than 10-1 odds. Raiders plus 10.5. I don't know if that number's still around, but that's where I would take them.
But that's great. Okay.
Okay. Rams. So that's the last leg. Browns money line minus 150. Okay, that's where I got that. And
I'm on Browns myself.
And I took the Saints minus 5 against the Jets. Last leg, Rams money line plus 115. So 4-leg.
Okay.
Raiders plus the points. Browns money line. Saints minus the points. Rams money line.
So you do this quite often, where you include the Monday night game. That way you can hedge. Like if everything hits, and then going into Monday, you give yourself a plus money opportunity one way or the other.
Exactly. Plus, I actually like the Rams this week. I don't just do it for the sake of doing it. I do it when I see value there. So, if I get to Monday night and I've hit the Raiders, I've hit the Browns, and I've hit the Saints, I'll probably play, a third of whatever the bet is, just to guarantee myself a win on the Cardinals money line. So then I win either way. Beyond that, I'm trying to see what other good ones I got here. So I got a 5-teamer, and this one is 4 money lines and 1 team plus the points. So this one, like when I put it together, I'm like, I probably won't pay that much. 34 to win $500. So
woo! All right.
There's a couple similarities. Well, there's 2 similarities from the last one. Browns money line minus 150. I really, really like the Browns this week, especially after seeing what happened to the Steelers on Thursday night. For our listeners who didn't realize, the Steelers played the Ravens last week.
Interesting. Yeah, that's right.
The game after they play each other, they usually come out and they're beat up. And we absolutely saw that on Thursday night. I still can't believe the Vikings almost blew a 29-0 lead, but it doesn't matter. They ultimately won. They ultimately covered against the Steelers. I now see this Ravens, same scenario against a better Browns team, that the line is 2.5, whatever. I just don't want the Browns to somehow only win by 2, which is why I took it money line. But I have Browns money line minus 150. Absolutely love this. I just think the Ravens are going to come out beat up just like the Steelers did.
Go ahead. I'm sorry. I was talking with Philly Godfather at the top of the show, and I mentioned the fact. Listen, man, he threw 4 interceptions in that last game, and they still won. Like this ain't JV games here, right? Like the Browns are going to figure this out. They're going to get that running game going. Ravens defense is trash this year. I don't even know what's going on with them, but even on the Wagner Wire, which I was on earlier, I've been doing the whole media like tour or whatever. But I Baker Mayfield for DFS for fantasy today might be an interesting option because, again, if we like the Browns so much, Baker Mayfield could be the one throwing those touchdowns, So, again, this is all a variance play. But listen, man, there's a couple people out, that you might need a quarterback. So Baker Mayfield could be your guy here at the final end there. So love that there. One line that's really caught my attention, the Cowboys, I guess, going up to 6.5. That probably means that they're going to spank Washington today. And I know you and I both, I think, liked Washington this week, earlier in the week anyway, on the podcast. So that's certainly a change going into today.
Yeah, so that's a game that I've entirely flip-flopped on. Initially, loved Washington, for real. So now I'm just off. I'm off that game. So initially, I was like, love Washington football team, plus 4.5. Then I'm doing a little bit of research, and I'm like, this line should be more like 6, which now it's gotten there. So, and then I'm like, wait, okay. So then that says I should take the Cowboys at minus 4.5. Now we're up to 6.5. So I'm just like, all right, I'm totally just not betting this, but I'm rooting for Washington football team solely because I have a futures on them to win the NFC East. If they happen to win today, they're 1 game out. So I went from love Washington to like Dallas to no thanks. I'm just going to watch the game and root for Washington.
Yeah, that's going to be it's going to be quite the atmosphere there in Washington today. They were supposed to have bad weather, and now it's like the most gorgeous day ever out there. So good for them. I'm very happy. I really liked the under earlier in the week too, but I just saw the weather and I was like, yuck. That is not what I was thinking. All right, what anything else? Any other parlays that you had to cover in there too?
So let me just finish this 5-teamer because it's a bunch of money lines that work together and it's got a really nice payout. So like I said,
by the way, I'm sorry. Deebo Samuel expected to play today. Don't know if anybody needed that information, but Deebo Samuel expected to play today. Sorry.
Well, that could affect this parlay because within it, I may or may not have the Bengals money line. So what it is Browns money line minus 150, Bengals money line plus 105. With Deebo in, obviously that does make a difference, but I do think the Bengals come out on top at home. Falcons plus 3 against division rival Carolina. Broncos money line. I just think the line is too long, so that's why I'm assuming that they'll win. So I got the money line at minus 475, and then on the back end, like we spoke about earlier, Rams money line plus 115, and now you've just got Paulie Parlays all by himself. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know what the hell. Oh, you're still here. Your camera's just.
You can hear me, yeah.
Hey,
where did I go? I got that spinning wheel of death on my computer before.
Oh, so I just thought you turned the lights out because you didn't like the parlay.
Nah, my face looks hideous this week. I think I told you I was shaving earlier this week and I had, like I go with like the 3-blade, right? So that way I can still have the length and the girth that I love so much from my beard. But I didn't have anything on. So I went to swipe right up and I essentially took like a good chunk of my beard just gone. So then I had to shave my beard down and I hate it. I look like a fat baby, right? So
now you look like you're hiding in the dark. So you're good.
Yeah. So when that happened, it was probably like an hour or two later that the guys from Sharp were like, hey, like, do you want to do the social media stuff and like get on camera and everything? And I'm like, like the worst possible timing. But I am glad to be here. I just want my beard to be in full form when I do.
I left it for you. I just cleaned it up because I knew I was gonna see you. I look,
Where?
Now we're both gone. Now I'm back.
Yeah, I don't know what's good. Like this whole, like I told you, I had so much anxiety just trying to like get this show up and running and everything like that. And I'm not nervous talking in front of people. I don't give a shit. I'll talk in front of anybody. It's this stuff, like having the wrong link, not having some visual on there. That's the stuff that I was worried about. And not only did one of those things happen today, but 2 of them happened today. So very nice. When I did the 14A Sports radio show, we actually had a guest cancel on us about 5 minutes right before our very first show. And I was just like devastated, but we worked around it and we did 18 months of fantastic radio. So hopefully we got the same thing going on here.
Hey, as long as we got winners, I don't think anyone's going to care, right?
That is true. So just to recap today, my personal picks, which you can actually find on the Sharp app. Download the Sharp app. Go to the Google Play Store. Also go to the Apple Play Store. But this app is badass, man. Like you just track all the money that you're making, and it's easy. You could take a screenshot. You could send it to your friends and everything. Again, Sharp app is what you want to download, and you can see what's going on there for everybody in the company. We got Geek. We got John Statstational. By the way, big shout out to everybody. Thanks for letting me do the show today. And, we'll get all this technological stuff figured out one day. But, we wanted to get an episode out there this week, and here it is. What are you doing with the rest of your Sunday?
The rest of my Sunday, I'll be sitting on the couch hoping that my bets come through. Obviously. What else is there to do?
Well, no, I was going to say, like, do you go out? Do you, kind of just sit back at home and relax? But there's the answer right there.
Yeah, I'll be here at home, watching the games, hoping my bets come through. Like I got the one game I have both sides is actually a local game where I like the Saints, either money line or minus 4.5. But I took the Jets in a teaser plus 15.5. So I got to middle that one just right. So let's hope the Jets at least stay in the game and ultimately do lose to Taysom Hill and the Saints.
Well, I told you I like the Jets money line today. I think that there's the little something here, and the reason that I love it so much even more after talking with Chop in the last segment. A lot of people are going to be on Taysom Hill today for DraftKings for quarterback. So, I usually when that happens, when everybody's on somebody, so solely like that. they end up disappointing the whole crowd out there. So I'm looking forward to that.
I can't believe you trust the Jets. I mean, I just don't get it. They're not, they're not what they are. And also we've got Kamara's back this week, which he's the engine that runs that team. Both offensive linemen that have been out recently are back. I think the Jets are a bad team, and I think the Saints are, they're still in the playoff hunt. So they have something to play for. We're at the point in the season now where a lot of teams start to give up a little, where we saw that for the first time last week with the Houston Texans. They literally gave up in the second half, and it wasn't a game. So this is the part of the season where if the Saints get up early, I can see the Jets just putting up a goose egg where no Corey Davis, no Elijah Moore. Like their number one receiver this week is Jamison Crowder, who I'm fine with. I'm actually starting him in 3 different fantasy leagues. But in the same breath, they're missing their top 2 running backs, their top 2 receivers, and have a rookie quarterback. Like I just think the Saints are going to run away with this one if they get ahead early.
Yeah, and again, man, the money line right there at it's below plus 200 there for the Jets, and we saw the line. I'm looking at the whiteboard from we were talking earlier this week. Saints 5.5. They're down to 4.5 now, and that's with the news of Kamara coming in and everything like that too. So there's a little screwery going on right there that I'm absolutely intrigued about. But I got a little play there. I just put some money on it. Jets money line betting while on air. Gotta love it, folks.
That's our thing. We put together things while we're on air. We make a bet, and you can actually see us making the bet while we're live every week on our show.
Yeah, I gotta again, big thanks to everybody out there, the Geek, Statsational, Jason Mizrahi, every George out there for making the graphics and stuff like that. Not my dog George, George there from the Sharp app, but a big thank you to you guys for making this show happen on short notice earlier this week. And next week we're gonna get this thing nailed down, and it's gonna be absolutely perfect. I promise you. So, Paulie, thank you for joining us. You are obviously welcome to come back anytime you want here on the show. And I think, kind of that whole thing with like the Peyton Eli thing, I think that, we can kind of have a little fun with this thing. So this should be awesome.
Yeah, I got you, Al. Thanks for having me. Really appreciate it. Those of you who are listening, follow me on Twitter at GameDayFacts. And go Browns this week. If they win, I'll have a great week. If they lose, I'll probably be sad on my couch.
Love it. All right, everybody. Once again, follow me, Al Walsh, on Twitter at 14a.walsh. Follow the Sharp app on Twitter at the Sharp app. And then, of course, sharp.app on the web, and sharpbets.com as well is where you find everything. This was fun. This was one hell of a ride getting this show up today, but gonna go enjoy some football there with my brother and my friends, and I hope you guys all do the same. We will see you next week on the Sharp app. Peace.